Hello and welcome. Fantastic to have you here today. We have got a great session on and I'm looking forward to having you with me today. This is all about how do you know when you're being a good leader? And, sometimes we don't know, do we? We sit there and we think we're doing a good job, but we're really not sure. So this is all about how do you know when you're going to be a good leader. Now, there's lots and lots of different discussions on what this looks like. Some people think being a good motivator creates a great leader. Some people think that if you're great at communicating with others, that makes a great leader. But a lot of psychologists have now decided that self-awareness, building your self-awareness, finding out who you really are and what makes you react in certain ways and all those sorts of things does create a great leader. So we're going to talk today on how you can build your self-awareness so then you can determine if you're being a great leader. Okay, and that will also help you build on those strengths as well as look at the opportunities that you've got and build on those as well. So we've got 10 ways that you can determine whether you're being a great leader or not by building your self-awareness. So number one, being really mindful of your strengths and weaknesses. And there's lots of ways that you can do that. You can get feedback from others. You can do surveys that we'll talk about in a little while. But it's mindful of what you can and you can't do. And, all of us have got blind spots. We've got areas where we affect people and impact people and we don't even know we're doing it, okay? So what I want you to do is determine what your strengths are. And some of those strengths you might be aware of and some of those strengths you might not be aware of. Some people might come to you and say, how do you do that? I don't know how you do that. I can't do that. And you don't even know yourself it's a strength. And the other thing that you need to do is work out what your weaknesses are. Where are your opportunities? Where are areas that you can improve on? So we'll be looking at that over this session, and we're going to give you some great tips and hints on how you can do that. Okay, so first one, be mindful of your strengths and weaknesses, and we'll have some options here that you can use to do that. Number two, have strong boundaries in place. Okay, it's great to be friends with everybody and be friendly and helpful and do all those sorts of things. But you also, as a leader, you have to learn to say no. And if you don't know how to say no, the video before this one is all about how to say no. So there's sometimes where you need to push back. There's sometimes when you need to say it in a really constructive way, but no, you can't do that on, whatever it may be. So know the boundaries of what you can and can't do. Know what your capacity is. Know what your capabilities are. And yes, you can build on those, but you don't want to say yes to something and then overpromise and underdeliver, because that's going to erode at trust and all sorts of things. So make sure that you have got boundaries in place, and it's fine to be friendly to others, but know when to say no. All right, the third one, figure out what your emotional triggers are. So what do I mean by this? So identify your emotions and know that when you're going to move into a confrontational sort of situation, or you've got a courageous conversation that you have to have, know that you're going to have some sort of emotional response. And that's okay. We're all going to have different ways that we're going to respond to things. But if you are aware of those triggers, then you can prepare for them. You can be proactive with them. You can say, okay, I've got to go and do this presentation. I know that I'm really nervous at these things. I know that, I struggle a little bit at the beginning before I get into the swing of things. So what can I do to be able to prepare for that really, really well? Or I've got to go and have a fairly courageous conversation with somebody. I know it could be, it could trigger a bit of conflict. How can I prepare myself for this? Because I know I'm going to have an emotional response. So how can I manage that emotion and make sure that I can go in there confidently? Okay, so number one, know your own strengths and weaknesses. Number two, have strong boundaries in place. Yes, be friendly, but learn to say no. Number three, what are your emotional triggers and how can we be proactive to be able to cater for those? Number four, embrace your intuition. Trust your gut. So many times we go against that and it leads us astray. So make sure if you've got a strong feeling about something, if somebody is saying something to you and you feel, you know what, there's a bit of deception going on here, or someone's holding some information from me, or then that's happening. Okay, so trust your gut and ask more curious questions. How did you get to that? What made you make that decision? What other things are in line that made that decision come down in the line? Whatever it may be, okay? Ask more questions, because you need to dig deeper if your gut's saying to you that there's something missing here. So make sure you embrace your intuition. Trust your gut instinct. Okay, number 5. When you are self-aware, you're more disciplined in every part of your life. You can practice self-discipline because you know when you're at your strengths. So for example, I know that I'm on fire in the morning. So I put all my complex tasks on in the morning. Everything that needs problem solving, everything that needs lots of energy, I do that in the morning, because if I leave that to the afternoon, I know my own strengths and weaknesses, and I know by afternoon I do not have the brain capacity or the capability to be able to tackle those tasks in the afternoon. So I make sure that I do them in the morning, and that disciplines me to get that stuff done. So just practice that, making sure that you've got that self-discipline, because you are aware of where you're stronger to where you're not so strong. Okay, those that are self-aware are able to remain focused more. So what do I mean by this? If you have got an awareness about how you react to things and how you have emotional responses and all those sorts of things, when there is 100 things to do at once, you're able to focus on the task that needs to be done first. So you'll be able to prioritize. You know in yourself that emails are going to come through, social media's there, and you're not going to allow yourself to be distracted, because you're going to use your times when you are on fire to be able to do those really complex tasks and get them done. So it allows you to remain focused, it allows you to prioritize, and it gets rid of all those distractions that are those day-to-day distractions, and it allows you to sort of block them out, because you know you're focusing on this one task because it has to be done by close of business today, or it's a report that needs to be put through. So when you've got that self-discipline, you're allowing yourself not to get distracted by getting onto social media, playing a couple of games, answering some emails, going to see Sally down the hallway because you know she went away for the weekend, all those things. So it's that self-discipline and focus that you'll be able to do once you're self-aware and know those times a day when you're on fire. Okay, there are a plethora. So this is number 7. There are a plethora of self-help books and surveys and things that you can do. There's Myers-Briggs. If you just get online, Google it. You can Google Myers-Briggs. They've got a survey that will help you determine where your strengths and areas of opportunity are. There's another one on the Authentic Happiness website. So if you go to www.viacharacter.org, there is another one there. It's a free survey that you can do that takes 24 personality traits and puts them in order of what you value the most. So you look at your top 5. You look at your top 5 and go, right, these are the things that I value the most. These are the things that are dear to me. I know if these things I'm not practicing them every day, then I'm going to feel like I've got lack of energy. So for example, with that Authentic Happiness one that I've just gave you the link to, I know that my top 5 have been the same for the last 8 years. They might shuffle in position, but number 1 has always been honesty. Honesty comes with pros and cons. Yes, I can be honest, which is fantastic. The con to that is I can be quite direct and put people off. So I have to be mindful with the way I talk. Being honest is my number 1. Is also if I'm working in an environment where there's deception, or there's people holding on to information and not sharing it, or there's some sort of power play, then I'm not going to fit well in that environment. So I have to consider what is going to be the best environment for me to work at my best. So these are sort of things that you can do. There's also another one where you can determine whether you're a pragmatist, activist, theorist, or reflector. If you just put those in Google, it'll come up with some Word and PDF documents that will allow you to do a survey to determine where you are. If you're a reflector, it means that you're a good planner, you're great into detail, but you don't like being put on the spot. If you're an activist, you're not such great at planning and in the detail, but you can just power on and do things, and you love the new ideas of doing things. If you're a theorist, everything has to be proven before you're willing to have a go at it. So show me where it's happened before, show me where it's successful before. And if you're a pragmatist, then it's all about can you see the benefits in it? If you can see the benefits of how this will work and how it's going to benefit me or others, then I'm happy to go with it. So it just shows you where you sort of fit. But not only does it do that, it shows you all the different types of the way people will react and take on learning. So then you can cater for your teams as well. So you've got Myers-Briggs, you've got the Authentic Happiness, which is viacharacter.org. You've got the Pragmatist, Activist, Reflector, and Theorist, which is another one. So there's 3 just off the top of my head that you can go in. They're free surveys and it'll just give you some insights. Remember, they're a snapshot of time at the time that you actually fill them in. So don't see that's forever. But I try and do them every second year just to see, what's changed or what stayed the same. Okay, number 8, try new experiences. Try and get yourself out of your comfort zone. So if you've always wanted to climb that mountain that's down the road from you, have a good weekend, take some mates, prepare yourself and go and climb the mountain. Have some experiences that take you out of your comfort zone, because this is where you find your default with regards to emotional response. So how do you react when you get really, really tired? How do you react when you're really hungry? How do you react when somebody's annoying you? And if you're not conscious of that, be conscious of it now when you're doing those things that take you out of your comfort zone, because that's where we go back to our default. And so that's a really good way to build your self-awareness. And it also helps you build your comfort zone out that little bit further. All right, number 9, get a mentor or a coach. Okay, this is really, really important, because a mentor or coach will help you. You can talk to them about how you're feeling and doing all those sorts of things, and they will see things that you can't see. So they'll be able to give you feedback. And feedback is really important when you're talking about self-awareness. Getting feedback from those people that you trust, that you are willing to take their opinion and their thoughts and their insights, really, really important for you to go back and then reflect on those and go, wow, I didn't realize that, that's the way I came across, or that's how the impact that I had on other people. So really, really great if you can get yourself some sort of mentor or coach. And that feedback part is really good. And what you've got to say to your mentor is, look, I don't want you to be nice, because the word nice stands for not interested to care enough. What I want you to do is be honest with me, because this is where I want to grow and learn about myself. So please be honest with me. Okay, so see how you go with that. And the last one, the 10th one, if you are a sort of a read-write person, you like to write things down and you like to capture sort of moments, try doing a daily writing exercise. And that is writing down your thoughts and feelings daily, because it's a really good reflection exercise. So it allows you to think, I had this really confrontational sort of conversation with a peer at work, and this is how it made me feel, and this is how I reacted. And while you're writing those words, you're reflecting. And then you can ask yourself questions. Did I respond in the appropriate way? If I didn't, what would I do differently next time? So as you're writing those down, it's a great reflection to be able to determine what you can learn from that about yourself, about how you react, and how you can change your behaviours and be more proactive if that circumstance ever happened again. Okay, so remember, having a high level of self-awareness allows you to be a better leader. It allows you to recognize things that you may not have recognized before. It helps you build better relationships. It uncovers all your strengths and weaknesses, so then you can build on your strengths. You can't forget about your strengths because they're strong. You build off those and leverage off those, but then you also improve the areas of weakness that might need a little bit of a tweak. You're able to control your emotions more, so you're more proactive, you're less responsive, which allows you to be that better leader. So when, the S hits the fan, or you're in peak period and there's 100 things to do and you're a bit stressed, you know what your response is going to be, and you can plan for that, and you can make sure that you're not impacting others in a negative way. You can face more adversity because you are building your resilience, and you just be more confident as a leader. So those things really make a difference. So quickly, really, really quickly, over again, number 1, be mindful of your strengths and weaknesses, the ones you know and the ones you don't know. Number 2, get some boundaries. Yes, be friendly to your team and be open and all that sort of stuff, but learn how to say no. And if you don't know how to do it, watch the video from before. Number 3, figure out what your emotional triggers are, and then you can be proactive in the future. Number 4, Did I say 3 before? Number 4, embrace your intuition. Your gut intuition is a good thing because it picks up people's non-verbal sort of language, their body language and all that sort of stuff. That's what your intuition picks up. So if their words are not matching what their body is showing you, that's your gut saying, oh, there's something wrong here. So trust and embrace your intuition. Number 5, when you're more self-aware, you're disciplined in more parts of your life. So you can practice making sure that you can, determine when you're on fire at what part of the day. I know people that are really kicking goals in the afternoon, and some other people, they're best off in the morning, and there's some people that are night people. So just determine where you fit in there. Number 6, make sure you focus. It will allow you to focus on specific things and not sort of spin your wheels by doing 100 things at once and doing a half-assed job of all of them. So be mindful of that. Number 7, remember, you've got all those self-help surveys that you can do and those self-help books if you need it. Myers-Briggs, The Authentic Happiness, which is viacharacter.org. You've got the Pragmatist, Activist, Theorist and Reflector. So those sorts of surveys that are all free and are all available on Google that you can do just to help you build your own self-awareness. Number 8, do new things, discover new things, get yourself out of your comfort zone a little bit, because this is where you'll go to default and this is where you can be mindful and reflect on your responses. Number 9, why does that not look? It's gone. Number 9, get yourself a mentor or a coach. Really, really important because they'll be able to give you some really authentic, honest feedback, and that's what you need. We need to embrace feedback. Feedback is a gift, so embrace it. And number 10, do that daily writing exercise. So if things happened in the day, whether they were joyful, whether they were confrontational, anything like that, just make sure you write them down, and that gives you the ability to reflect on them. So I hope that helps. Make sure if you've got any burning platform, any issues, anything at all, make sure you contact us at ask@teamleadertoolkit.com. We'll put a little video like this for you together and we'll send it out to you and hopefully it'll help. But until next week, hope this helped for you. Have a great day and I will speak to you later. Cheers. Bye.